So we will proceed without any delay. And before that, we would like to clarify whether all rules and regulations already you are aware of it. Okay? Do we need to repeat it again? As we have reached here, I think it's not needed to again repeat such rules and regulations. Be careful of times, point of informations, and all your arguments. And again, congratulations to all of you, to both government and opposition team, for reaching this stage at the final moment of Simanchal Inter-School English Debate Championship. So we will start. Okay? Anything to ask, please clarify it right now. Otherwise, it will not be justified to have any excuse in between the debate. And we also request coaches and other audiences not to interfere in between the debate, so that we can run it in a healthy and smooth way. Okay? Anything to have some words, sir? So it's the government team, Kurtuva Leaders Academy, and St. Xavier's English Medium School opposition team. Okay? So the first speaker from government team, Prime Minister Shagaf Sarwar, please come to the podium. Timer is set, I think. Okay, please keep there a man to handle this.
Honorable adjudicators, worthy opponents, and you all are my tantalizing audience. Today, I stand before as the Prime Minister from the government team, and I strongly support the motion that is, this House believes that traditional examinations should be replaced with continuous assessment. Honorable adjudicators, education is not about how well a student can perform on a particular day, while education is about how much a student grows every single day. Today, we stand before on the side of the government to support this motion. This House believes that traditional examinations should be replaced with continuous assessment. Now, before presenting our case and my speech, let me define the motion. What we mean by traditional examinations. So firstly, we mean the current system where students' entire academic ability and potential is judged mainly through a few hours of examination. And what we mean by continuous assessment? We mean a system where students are evaluated regularly through assignment, projects, presentations, class participations, practical work, research activities, and periodic tests throughout the year. And now, our position is not that evaluation is unnecessary. Why? We strongly believe assessment is very important. But we argue that one examination cannot measure the complete intelligence, creativity, skills, and potential of a student. Because a student's ability and potential is much broader and bigger than a one single hour examination. Now, for decades, traditional examinations have been the backbone of education systems around the world. They are created to test knowledge and maintain fairness. However, the world has changed. Modern society doesn't need students who can memorize only and merely information, while it needs and prefers students who can think critically, solve problems, communicate effectively, work in teams, and apply knowledge in real situations. But unfortunately, our examination system still rewards one major skill, and that is memorization. A student can study everything night before the examination, can memorize the points and informations, write them in exam, and forget them after a few days. Is this a true learning? The government answer is absolutely no. So now our first argument is that honorable continuous assessment measures real intelligence better. Honorable judges, our first argument is very clear that a single examination cannot measure the complete ability of a student. Every student is different. Some students are excellent performers, some are excellent speakers, some are creative thinkers, some are talented in work with teams, some perform better through research and projects. But traditional examination put all the students in one box and ask them to prove themselves through the same written test. For example, a student may understand science very deeply, but struggle to express everything in a 3-hour examination because of anxiety and pressure. Does it mean that students lack intelligence? Absolutely no. The problem is not the student, while the problem is the measurement system. Continuous assessment allows students to show different forms of ability and potential over the time. It measures understanding, creativity, teamwork, communication, consistency, and practical applications. These are the skills that the real world demands. We are not claiming in vain while we have evidence. Developed countries like Finland and China emphasize project-based learning and regular evaluation instead depending only on a final day of examination. The reason is very simple, that a doctor is not judged by one operation. A player is not judged by one match. Yes?
How you can prove that continuous assessment doesn't prove doesn't make the student in continuous stress? Like if you are telling that continuous examination measures the ability, then how you can prove that constant stress is there on students? Like really that if you are telling their progress, then how you can?
Please, I said you that continuous assessment measures all the abilities and all the potential of a student continuously, but examinations fail. And now back to my point, a musician is not judged by one performance. Why should a student be judged by only one examination? It is fair. Not. The answer is absolutely not. Now, honorable judges, at the heart of this debate, one question remains, and that is, do we want an education system that tests memory for a few hours? Our system understands a student's complete journey. The opposition defends a system that asks, how much can you remember one day? But the government believes that education should ask, how much you have learned, improved, and grown over the time. Students are not machines that can be measured by only one final test. While they are individuals, they have different types of talents, they have different types of ability, potential. So that's why the students cannot be measured only by, students' intelligence cannot be measured only by a single examination. So that's why we need to replace the examination with continuous assessment. Therefore, the House strongly believes that traditional examinations should be replaced with continuous assessment. Now, the government may say that examination also evaluate the students' intelligence by giving some critical thinking questions, by solving the problem questions. So I want to say that intelligence is not merely a one thing. It has several parts. First is that visual intelligence. Also, it is also called as spatial intelligence. And the second is linguistic intelligence. And the third is logical and mathematical intelligence. And the fourth is musical intelligence. And the fifth is bodily, also known as kinesthetic intelligence. And the sixth and the last intelligence is interpersonal intelligence. These all intelligence are not merely measured by the examination, while it can be measured by continuous assessment. So I respectfully urge our adjudicators to support this motion. So I conclude my speech there. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Now, Leader of Opposition.
Honorable Speaker, respected educators, and all my worthy House members. I am Manya Fatmi, and I, as a leader of opposition, today stand here firmly opposing the motion that traditional examinations should be replaced by continuous assessment. The proposition brings a well-meaning argument to the floor today. They look at the traditional exam hall, the silence, the ticking clock, the nervous energy that a student has, and they call it cruel. They promise us a paradise of continuous assessment where learning is smooth, stress is gone, and every student thrives every single day. It is a beautiful picture, but ladies and gentlemen, it is a dangerous illusion. In their attempt to save students from the pressure of a single week in May, the proposition is proposing a system that could make all 365 days of the year for a student filled with anxiety, stress, and a systemic inequality. They wish to replace a clear, transparent. Yes.
Is constant feedback more stressful than putting a student's future on one examination?
Thank you for the question. But can you please repeat the question?
As you say about assessment causes stress. So, is constant feedback more stressful than putting a student's future on one examination?
Thank you for the question. Actually, the thing is that the continuous assessment, it is also dependent on a teacher's internal thoughts, not only about the students. The teachers, we can't guarantee the teacher thinks of each and every student equally. So I think that it depends on a teacher's internal thoughts for each and every student. Let me continue. So the proposition that the government has proposed is that they wish to replace a clear, transparent and a equal standard of system. But do you think, are they right? The opposition believes that the answer is a clear no. The opposition stands firmly against this motion. We do not stand here to claim that traditional exams are perfect or immune to improvement, but we stand here to defend the fundamental truth that standardized point-in-time examinations remain the single most vital tool for ensuring fairness, objectivity, and equal opportunity for each and every student, regardless of where they come from. So today, as the leader of the opposition, I will defeat this motion on two major arguments. The first argument of universal fairness, objectivity, and equality. The grade is actually based purely on what is written on that paper, on a traditional examination, and objective evaluation against a single national standard. Just imagine a student who is just imagine teachers taking continuous assessment. The children will be seen every time. They will be evaluated all of their single activities will be evaluated in a continuous assessment. And thus, I believe, the opposition believes that continuous assessment relies mostly on a teacher's internal evaluation. They judge the students because we can't guarantee a human's thought. So teachers, they judge each and every student, and according to it, they score the marks. And because of this, two massive doors to inequality gets opened. That is unconscious teacher bias and also the socio-economic inequality. Just imagine the traditional examinations. A student just goes to the examination and just with the pen and a paper, and they write their examination. Nothing is needed over there, just the critical thinking, just the understanding is needed. And the teacher also, they don't know whose name. The examination scores, the examination papers, they are evaluated by marks, not by name. They don't check the names over there. They just score the marks by looking at the answers. From all these things getting cleared, I move to my second argument, that is mental well-being and long-term resilience. Our second argument actually touches on the very thing the proposition claims to fix: mental well-being and genuine preparation for life. Under continuous assessment, every quiz counts, every test counts, every homework assignment counts, every group project counts, every time a student rises and falls or fails to raise the hand, everything is counted and it impacts their final grade. Furthermore, traditional examinations teach a critical life skills. Just think a doctor, a surgeon who is in an emergency room operating on operation. Just imagine, they have to act at that exact point, under serious pressure, under strict conditions. And thus, I believe, the opposition believes that the traditional examinations, they actually teach the students a very critical life skill, that is working under pressure. And also just imagine an attorney standing in a courtroom. Will he say that just check my 6 months skills, 6 months preparation, that how much I have prepared? No, they will just see the result over there. And so let me move to my rebuttal now, that the proposition has claimed today that the traditional exams only measure short-term memorization. It is true that they measure memorization, but it depends in each and every student. Just imagine a well-designed examination, which is the traditional examination. They test synthesis, critical analysis, and problem solving under strict conditions. A student sits in an examination hall with a ticking clock, but they also learn a life skill, that is to work under pressure. Even so, today I want to answer to the to the question asked by the government, that is about memorization. So actually, the thing is that if an exam only tests rote memory, the solution should not be completely replacing traditional examinations, but it should be to reform the questions asked in the examination in the sheet of paper. And in conclusion, I want to say that continuous assessments sounds compassionate on paper, but in practice, it is too different. It replaces equal opportunity to each and every student with socio-economic privilege and defined exam periods with endless anxiety and pressure. With endless anxiety, that means for a 365 days of full anxiety, because they will be evaluated every single time. So we must protect a system where any student from any background in any school can walk into an examination hall, write the exams, sit in the same test and be judged solely on their merit. For equality, for equity, for well-being and for true fairness, today I urge this house to vote against the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Next, Deputy Prime Minister.
Respected educator, honorable audience, and my dear friends. Today we are gathered here to debate on a specific topic that this house believes, this house supports replacing the traditional examination with the continuous assessment. Honorable Chairperson, imagine a student who studies for an entire year, but on the day of examination, stress, anxiety and depression affect on his performance. Should one day can decide his entire future? Of course not. Of course not. As if our Prime Minister has already demonstrated a truth that traditional examination measure only a small part of a student's ability, but the continuous assessment can evaluate and can assess the whole ability of a student. Dear educator, as my position is, first I will rebut the arguments that are argued by the opposition team, and second I will present two arguments, and third I will defend our Prime Minister's case. So let me rebut the argument argued by the opposition team, as the opposition team claimed that examination is equality and examination is more reliable. So if examination is equality, examination is reliable, so why the exam papers are leaking? Why the NEET's papers are leaking? Because of the examinations papers of leaking, many students are committing suicide in 2K21 in NEET's examination, where 32 students suicide. Yes.
If continuous assessment is favored, how will you prevent parents, students or AI from influencing students' work?
But thank you for asking question. The answer will be given by the web speaker. So let me continue my work. And the second claim that was raised by the opponent team about mental health. But actually the opposition has misunderstands, because of the examination create their stress, anxiety and depression. But they are claiming that the examination prevent the stress, anxiety and depression. So let me remove toward my argument. I will present two arguments. So our second argument is that traditional examination cause severe stress, anxiety and can contribute to student suicides. In second argument, traditional examination create stress, anxiety, and because of these, the examination score can be reduced because of the stress, because of the anxiety and depression. And because of these, many students feel scared and anxious. Many students believe that if one mistake can destroy their entire life. And let me take the example of NEET in 2K21, where 32 students committed suicide. So could you imagine? Do you call it an examination? It's an exam. I call it deadly assessment, because because of the examination, many students are committing suicide, like in the NEET examination. So, and another research paper, according to the National Crime Records Bureau (NCRB), 14,000. According to this research, 14,910 students died by the suicide in 2K23 in India. While examinations are not the only reason, they can make pressure and an important contributing for these factors. The adjudicator continuous assessment is better because students are evaluated through assignment, projects, quizzes, and classwork during the whole year. If they please sit down. If they perform badly once, they will have more chance to improve it, but it doesn't in examination. So let me remove my third argument. Our third argument is that traditional examination tests memory while continuous assessment builds real skills and understanding. So my third argument is about traditional examination only evaluate and only assess our students few ability, our students few cognitive abilities, our students few abilities. But let me be an example. So I want to make understand you guys by example. A student studies a chapter of full month, and he write the answer of the question examination perfectly. But after the day of few days of examination, he may be forget the informations, the points what he had remembered because and this shows that examination often tests short-term memory instead of real understanding. And many students memorize, answer the question for writing in examination for the marks of examination, but traditional examination do not measure creativity, do not measure the problem solving, do not measure the communication, do not measure these skills like the practical skills. And in another hand, in the continuous assessment is better because students are evaluated, students are measured under many factors like assignment, project, presentation, quizzes, practical work, and classroom participation through all over the world. But in examination, all over the world is decided in a day when students can be stressed. Because of stress and anxiety, students' marks can be reduced, and people decide by their marks that he is intelligent or not. Education should not only teach students how to memorize for an exam, it should prepare for the real life. Therefore, this house should continuous assessment our traditional exam over the traditional examination. In conclusion, Honorable Chairperson and the adjudicator, I ask this house, should a student's knowledge be judged by a stress exam, or should we evaluate their hard work throughout the entire year? This is why continuous assessment is a better and fairer system. Thank you for attention.
A very good morning to one and all present here, from honorable judges to respected teachers, ladies and gentlemen, and my worthy opponents. As a deputy leader, my duty is to answer the arguments placed by the government and to make my case stronger by giving my arguments. So, first of all, I would like to tell that this is a type of a policy motion. Equality in education with equality in evaluation. Now I want to give the government claims. I want to just rebut the government claims. The government claims that traditional examination should be replaced because they create stress and that continuous assessment give us a better picture of students' ability. I disagree. Not only me, but most of them should disagree. Because firstly, stress is a part of life. For university entrance exam to job interviews, every important opportunity comes with a pressure. The solution is not to remove examination, but to prepare students to face challenges confidently. It's not only about examination, but in real life, if a student will face something, then how they would able to face that? If they will not be like, if difficulties has came into your life, then how would you able to face that until you don't know how to act at that situation? Firstly, stress is a part of life. that I have told you, then I just wanted to tell that solution is not to remove examination but to prepare students to face challenges confidently. Secondly, continuous assessment is not fair, as our Prime Minister said that projects and assignment can receive help from parents, tutors or even AI. However, in a traditional examination, students' full potential is checked. In an examination hall, every student sits under the same rules with the same paper and same time. That's the true equality. Now my first argument. Traditional examination protect merit. Education should reward what a student knows, not what resources they have. Traditional examination provide every student with same paper and the same rules. In contrast, continuous assessment can be influenced by teacher bias, parental support, or even AI resistance. For example, competitive exams like joint entrance examination and national eligibility, some entrance tests are conducted under uniform conditions because they need a fair and common standard to compare millions of students. Argument number 2. Continuous assessment creates a year-long pressure that has been continuously argued by our government that examination creates stress on students. But how you could prove a one-day stress is better than 365 days continuous stress? Students, they are dying every day, then it is better to take stress on that day. The government says continuous assessment reduces stress, but in reality, it increases their stress. Across the academic year, they are facing many quizzes, presentation, effects, and final grade. Sure.
Can one examination truly measure an entire year's learning?
Yes, as you said that one examination cannot measure the entire learning, but yeah, an examination could measure the knowledge that the student have in it. It could measure the intelligence. That's the point. Now, let me just continue to my argument. I was saying that every assignment, quiz, and presentations affects the final grade. For example, in many schools, using continuous internal assignment, students under much maintained performance throughout the year, making it difficult to recover from illness and personal setback. It's not only about that our traditional examination only has one day, but traditional examinations, we used to have exams, periodic assessment 1, periodic assessment 2, half yearly, periodic assessment 3, periodic assessment 4, and annual exams also. So that's the point. It's not only telling us the one day, it's telling us, it is monitoring the students day by day. It's monitoring, like as you all have said that academic is, it is better, continuous assessment is better because it monitors the students every day, but traditional learning also monitors the students every day. We can't just prove that. So now, my argument 3, society needs standardized assessment. Universities and employers need a common benchmark to compare students from different schools and backgrounds. Grades become inconsistent and difficult to trust. For example, the Union Public Service Examination uses standardized exams to ensure that every candidate is judged by same criteria, regardless where they have studied. Exams give us way much equality as compared to that of academics, or as compared to that of continuous assessment. So, examination may not measure everything, but they measure one thing fairly, and fairness is the foundation of education. Therefore, the House should reject the motion and support traditional examination. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Respected educators, my worthy opponents, and your tantalizing audience, good afternoon to all. Now, I stand beside you as a government whip. So my responsibility is to rebut the main point, the core points and arguments that is argued by our opposition team. So let's start by considering the first argument. The first argument was about teacher bias. But if we think logically, if we will be honest, teacher bias exists in every assessment, including traditional examinations, where human judgment is also involved in traditional examinations. So the problem is not that the teacher bias exists on the both system, but there is the main question is that which system reduce the impact of teacher bias. Let's define this point.
This is the core point of this argument. In these continuous examinations, teacher bias, if one time the student will get a teacher bias, so he can, it is a temporary, it is not a permanent, and it will impact not a long time. But if a student gets a teacher bias in examination, so think critically how a student can improve himself, because the in teacher bias in examinations can impact the long term. He will not get time to improve himself, because the traditional examination generally occurred after 6 months or after 1 year, but continuous assessment examinations continue throughout the year. And let's counter the second argument. So first, before continuing the second argument, I wanna ask them a question. If teacher bias exists in both systems, so why we are not choosing that system that impact is very less? And let's start by contouring the second argument. The second argument was about mental well-being and general preparation for life. Let's define this. Let's counter this argument. They are arguing about the mental well-being, but can any person can say that before my contouring this argument, I wanna present a report of a NCRB. It presents report of a Manila University reports of a university that argues that two-third student prepare for examination before 1 week. So how can a student mentally well-being, because he should cramming before the examinations. So before the examinations, and they talked about in this argument about the stress. But let us define this argument. Stress exists everywhere, in continuous assessment, also in examinations, but it is not a problem. But the real problem is that they talk about the mental well-being, but in continuous assessment, the stress, the workload have been divided throughout the years, where every subject and every assessment carry a low stress. So from continuous assessment, actually the student gets mental well-being, not in a one day where the stress on their mind and they cannot think critically. They cannot think critically how a student can have mental well-being. And now let's begin that the point of information that they have raised about the AI parents' help. So let me define in this way of example. So consider in examinations, a student can also cheat, and in continuous assessment, a student can also help from AIs from parents. But the real problem is that the impact. We have to think the impact. Where is the impact is larger in continuous assessment or in examinations? Obviously, in continuous assessment, the impact is very less, because in continuous assessment, a student can improve themselves the next time. But in annual examinations, in traditional examinations, a student cannot gain that. And I want to counter some points, like examination teach critical thinking under stress. Dear respected judges, have you ever think how a person can critically think under pressure? They are arguing that examination teaches critical thinking under pressure. So this is a false dilemma, because there is a theory of a cognitive theory developed by the John Searle. It's argued that a student cannot take a burden on his mind under pressure. He cannot think critically. So arguing that examination teaches critically thinking under stress is like a false dilemma. And they talk about the anxiety, that examinations contain anxiety, but they have forgotten continuous assessment contain anxiety, but they have forgotten that examinations also contain also anxiety. But the real question is not that where anxiety is occurring, because we all know that anxiety is also okay.
If continuous assessment is truly fair, can you guarantee that the student's final grade is the student's ability?
Okay, thank you for asking the question. That is a good question. So let's define this question. He is arguing about the fairness. But if we think anxiety is divided, the workload has been divided throughout the year, where a student can learn, can improve with fairness, but in examinations student can work and can prepare only for 1 week or 2 weeks before the examinations. And so I wanna ask them a question about the anxiety, that anxiety exists in continuous assessment, but it can be reduced. It can be reduced. But if your student become ill on exam day, how does your system protect them? The government, the opposition should answer it. So I conclude my speech here. Thank you for attention.
Honorable Chairperson, respected judges, worthy members of the opponent, good morning. As the opposition whip, my responsibility is not to introduce new argument, but to prove that why our team's points are relevant and has clearly won today's debate. Let me begin by summarizing what our team has proven. Our leader of opposition established that traditional examination ensure universal fairness, objectivity, and equity. Every student sits for the same examination, under the same pressure, under the same condition, and is judged by the same standard, by the same criteria. This creates a level playing field for everyone. The leader of opposition also explained that traditional examination built mental resilience, discipline, and the ability to perform under pressure, qualities that students need throughout life. Our deputy leader of opposition strengthened our case by showing that continuous assessments are subjective and inconsistent. Marks can differ from one student to another and also judged by one teacher to another or one school to another, making the system less reliable. The deputy leader also explained that continuous assessments create constant pressure throughout the year, where every assignment, quiz, and projects affects the final result. Now let us look at the government's case. The government asked this House to replace traditional examination with continuous assessments. However, they failed to prove why the replacement would actually improve education. Okay, so our honorable government's deputy prime minister said that examination, that traditional examination did not measure the creativity, the critical thinking, the capability of a student. We respectfully disagree this point, because we are in a generation where the examination are conducted to measure the capability of a student, the thinking capability of the students. In this current circumstances, students are giving examination like based on the logical thinking, not just the memorization of the facts, not just the storing of facts in the head. So, if continuous assessment keeps students under consistent pressure or consistent stress, then replacing traditional examination cannot be the solution. Members, this debate is not about whether any system is perfect. It is about which system better serves students. Traditional examination provide a fairer and equal standard for everyone. They reduce subjectivity, reward genuine academic performance, and prepare students for the future. Yes.
If examinations are sufficient, so why do universities and employers increasingly value the continuous assessments?
See, this is based because with every person points of view. Every person has their different capabilities. So, We cannot just say that consistent assessment is actually the best measure. So let me continue. So now, for the future challenges where important decisions are often based on a single performance, such as entrance examinations, interviews, and professional qualification. Continuous assessments, on the other hand, risk inconsistency, bias, and endless academic pressure. Instead of reducing stress, no, instead of reducing stress, they simply spread it across the entire year. When we weigh this debate, our side wins because we have shown these things. Traditional examinations are fairer, they are more objective, they prepare students with the resilience and discipline they need for life. Honorable Chairperson, before I conclude this debate, let me ask one simple question. If a system is fair, objective, and prepares students for the challenges of real life, why should we replace it with one that is subjective
Objection, ma'am. Why National Educational Policy of 2020 argue that continuous examination should be compulsory? Why?
Sorry, Today, the government has asked you to abandon a system that rewards merit and replace it with one that risks inconsistency and continuous stress. Our team has proven that traditional examination ensure fairness, build resilience, and provide equal opportunity for every student. As Malcolm X once said, education is a passport to the future. If education is a passport to the future, then our assessment system must be fair, reliable, and capable of preparing students for that future, not one that compromises merits and objectivity. For these reasons, we proudly stand with traditional examination and firmly reject this motion and we urge the House to vote with the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. Now it's reply time. So from opposition team, opposition reply, Sanjukta Das.
5 minutes.
Time is 5 minutes.
A very warm good morning to our respected judges, my house members, as well as my worthy opponents. Merit, someone great has said, merit survives only where standard remains common. As I am the reply minister from our opposition side, my role is to summarize the whole debate and compare that why should we win this debate. So, our motion is that we think we should not replace traditional assessment than a continuous assessment. Our government said that there should be continuous assessment. We state that traditional exams are more convenient to conduct. So, the real questions before I begin to summarize the debate arrives is, should traditional assessment be replaced by continuous assessment? But our government failed to prove it. Now, starting from our government side, as they stated their arguments, that their one assessment cannot define a student's intelligence, and also the things traditional assessments are based on memorizations. But in the same, doesn't continuous assessment also provide mental pressure in daily basis? We rebutted it back. Our opposition leader said it that universal fairness, objective and equality are provided, and she proved it as because traditional assessment place every student under the same conditions with the same paper and with the same time, and that's genuine. Then she also stated second argument that it brings mental well-being and a long-term resilience. She proved it. Before, the students usually face the pressure just for once, but now they have to face maybe day to day or maybe month to month. As she stated that anxiety, the pressure of 365 days in a student rather than having 1 to 2 exams in a year. Now our deputy government also stated their point that 2 examinations in a year can cause anxiety. Doesn't you think that everyday examinations can also conduct anxiety? Debating it back, our opposition leader, Deputy Minister, stated traditional examination protects merits, and she proved. And she stated also that continuous assessment creates year-long pressures, and she proved it as because in continuous assessment they are not that much serious than that in the traditional assessment. It provides biasment also. Repeated, instead of removing, we can our Deputy Minister repeated that instead of removing, we can prepare them for the upcoming challenges. Now, as a question was asked to the whip also that that an examination doesn't give anxiousness to it, but I think that it's different. The continuous assessment here states everyday assessment, and the assessment which is based in our school is of monthly assessment. Now we arrive towards our conclusion that though government supported continuous assessment, but we reject it because we think traditional assessments are way more reliable to test a student's capability. Rather than having continuous assessment as a student does not take it as serious, I reject it because traditional assessments provides fair and standardized method. It is easy to compare performance. It is easy to measure individual as they complete the exam independently. They develop their ability to take time management and pressure handling skills in other time continuous assessments. It influenced now our opponents influence that the statements which they given up, it's influence that continuous assessment can bring bias. Project assessment involves outsiders helps also and creates continuous pressure throughout for academic year. Now therefore when we compare both of them, clearly we offer the stronger than the government side. So I request the honorable judges, educator to support our motion. Thank you.
Honorable judges and my tantalizing audience. As a government reply speaker, my role is to close this debate by comparing both sides and showing you why government has given strong, more practical and more important cases. Today's motion, this House believes that replacing traditional examination with continuous assessment. At the beginning of this debate, our government established one central idea. Idea is that education should not judge a student's entire ability through one examination. It should recognize the complete potential he has. I want to say, what is the real purpose of examination? The government defined traditional examination because they are simple, familiar, and easy to conduct. But I want to say, is examination only about remembering information for few hours? As examination about our examination about developing knowledge, skills, creativity, and understanding? The government proved that students are not just a machine to store information. They are individuals who learn differently, perform as differently, and develop differently. The question is that which side provide a fairer assessment system? The opposition's strong point was that examinations are object because every student received the same papers. But the government showed that the same test does not always mean a fair test. I want to say, but the continuous assessment gives students repeated opportunity to demonstrate their ability. It's rewarded continuously improvement and dedication. And let us go to the compare both teams. I want to say that the government showed and he proved that one examination can decide the student's future. And memorization is rewarded more than understanding. And pressure replaces continuous growth. But the government proved that the student get multiple chance to prove himself. Different talent and recognition and learning becomes meaningful. I want to say that when you will leave this room, one question must spark in your mind. The question is that, do you really want an education system that measures students at their most stressful moment, or the system that understanding for complete development? I want to say that the answer is obviously in the support of government. And I want to say the opposition asks students to prove themselves once, but with government always students to prove themselves continuously. The opposition measure a performance and the government measure progress. And I want to say the government, the opposition obviously clear and who obviously accept continuous assessment is the best. This debate is clear. The government has win because they only accept the continuous assessment is the better. I conclude my speech. Thank you for all of you.
Wonderful, fantastic, fantabulous. It was really out of expectations as we are in the judging panel from yesterday. And it was the first team that we are so convinced that we are actually not getting any additional points to add for your improvement. Really, so much appreciated all of you. We have really presented very well each speakers from each team. And we are really in a critical conditions how to give assessment for this. And I think we need another debate and which types of assessment we will rule out now. Anyway, somehow, congratulations to each members. I would like to highlight some important things that we observed. At first, I observed that some of members from each team had a little bit about team confusion from which team you are. For example, one member is saying, referring his team as opposition team or government team. Actually, it was the different thing. This happened to both team actually. So team confusion, it may be out of pressure. However, be mindful of this fact that to which team you are belonging. You are presenting the correct facts, you are providing correct arguments in support of your team, but maybe sometime your lip sleeping or something this. So be mindful of these things. Otherwise, we had observed in previous debates that most of the arguments were coming in randoms, but we found that here all arguments were in sequence and in developmental process, means one by one. It was really a good improvement in your performance all over. Similarly, I would like to add more thing that as many of you have presented, supported your arguments with reports and evidences, so try to provide it more for your each argument maximum, because supporting your argument is more important than as much it is presenting it. So how you can support your arguments? Through report, surveys, other data. So remember, so whenever you are presenting your argument, give any supportive evidence for it. Anything more to add? Our other judges will add.
It was marvelous and exuberant performance from both sides. I appreciate all of you, and a very good presentation from both sides, and it was marvelous, it was fantabulous. And there are few additions to the observations our first judge provided, and those are like, some of you may know the voice modulation. So some of you presented very well, and their voice modulation was it was very appropriate and proper, but sometimes some among you were slow in their presentations, and the voice modulation was not that appropriate. And I have also observed some inferiority complex while the presentations. So this was one thing you should be, when you get exposed to more debates like this, you will be, very perfect, and this problem will automatically be solved. And another thing, while presenting your ideas, make a good eye contact with both with everyone, with the judges, with the opposition team, with your team and the audience. Make a good eye contact with everyone present in the session. Okay, so that is one point I have observed among you. Most of you were they were stuck in their scripts. So refrain from it. Try to present the ideas you already have in your mind. And if you need to, just point out things, just look at your script. Not during the whole time you are looking on the script. Okay, so this was another thing. And there were few formalities, like if you are rejecting or not receiving, you are not ready to receive a POI, point of information, you should say please be seated, not sit down. So this is more appropriate and respectful. So say please be seated instead of instead of sit down. Okay, so this was another thing. And one thing I also observed, the appreciation of POIs. So if the question is good, if the question is appropriate and logical, you should appreciate it. It is a good bonus point. So focus on these things also, and be mindful and keep in mind about the time management. That's all. Thank you very much. It was very good performance from both sides. I congratulate you all to have performed very well in this debate. Thank you all.
Good evening. First of all, thanks to both team, government side and the opposition side. And now I want to add some sentences as a feedback. So first of all, congratulations to both of team. You reached into the final of Seemanchal Inter-School English Debate Championship. So the first thing, during your presentation, when you get stuck in the middle of a sentence and you are not getting proper words, just move to another sentence that's related to your topic. So in that time, the judges will not get this as a negative points. And you need to fluency with accuracy and clarity in your sentences. And body languages is very important during your presentation, because when you stand in the podium and your hands are not moving and your head are not moving to the opposite side or to the government side or to the judges or to the audience, it gives a negative sense to the judges. So body languages are very important. And during your presentation, you should be confident. Confidential presentation gives positive sense also. And during POI, and POI should be asked by every candidates. Either it accepted or not, but it's your duty to ask some questions according to your topic. That's it. Many congratulations. And finally, I want to say, either you win or you lose, the debate is about learning. Since last 2 days, you learn more things, and I wish your better future. That's it. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank you, the organizers of this debate program, and to invite me as a judge to this program. I am feeling honored to serve as a judge to this debate. So it was a fantastic debate, a powerful debate, a head-to-head debate. So I enjoyed it every moment, every second. So just few things to add. Each candidate performed well, and each candidate who presented their speech on this stage earns an appreciation, because standing in front of such a audience and speaking is not an easy task, and come up with these ideas. So whether you win today or not, don't be disappointed. You have already achieved something. You have already achieved your success, and that is your confidence, your ideas. What I have seen today is not just speeches and English language. Many new ideas, your confidence, your voice, your body language, and much more things. So as a judge, we didn't focus just only your English language and fluency. There are much more things, just as the judges have indicated those things. So each of those aspects have been considered, and we will come up with the result. So, few more things to suggest you, if you can keep in your mind. So, in your free time, if you are willing to participate in this type of programs, read English newspaper and also books. Reading improves your ideas and also your speaking skills. And also listen to real debates, for example, the parliament debates. So this will break your fear. And also practice speaking English, and don't be afraid of making mistakes. Making mistakes is a step to learn. It means you have already achieved a step. So don't be afraid of mistakes. So I think you need proper preparation for this, and you have already done it. And also, before coming to a debate, do proper research. So referring to research papers will make your arguments more powerful, more logical, more persuasive, and more convincing. So thank you all for coming to this debate, and I hope in the upcoming years we will be enjoying these types of programs. Thank you all.
So, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. So, this was a marvelous debate. It is not about that we actually won or lose, but we have gained something which is not comparable. Today, we have learned something exclusive that cannot be explained. Not only from the opposition, from the government side, they were marvelous. They have spoken very nice points, and we have also get to learn something today. And thank you, judges, to provide your feedbacks. And we are going to apply this in our daily life. I hope that today's debate will be in your mind forever. Thank you.
Today, in this debate, we got a chance to be a finalist of this debate. And I am feeling very well with our opponents and judges, with also our audience. Because this debate was held for giving the confidence to the students. And this debate has gone to the last stage. So I am feeling very good and very well. And I appreciate to all of you. And I also thanks to all of you to be a part of this debate as the audience, as a participant, and also as judges. So thanks to all of you.